Everyone boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I do have in it is Horizon Forbidden West on the GTX 1650 Super. Well, with 4 gigabytes of VRAM, which is the hardest thing of this GPU in this game. So as usual, I decided to take the game for a spin with the presets of the game. So I decided to take the game at to test only at 1080p this time. Alright. With the very low preset, medium preset, high preset, and a custom setting that I decided to use for a little while just to see how it performs and how it holds on. So for all these settings, I did use textures on low. So when I say that I did try the game at high settings or medium settings, textures were at low. Mostly because, well, VRAM, which is something that with the low textures, the 4 gigabytes of VRAM gets full. It's not that you can't run the game with medium textures, but at some points of the game, the VRAM gets completely overloaded and performance does drop a lot because of that. So my recommendation, if you are going to play with a 4 gigabyte graphic card, is keep those textures on low. Alright, and that's what I've done for the entire settings. And for all the settings that I did try it, I also did use AMD FSR 2.2, which sucks in this game because there is a lot of vegetation and stuff moving, a lot of alpha particles. And usually AMD FSR 2 doesn't do a very good job with it. So you can try Intel XESS, which does a much better job though than FSR, but it's also considerably much more demanding. And so since I'm focusing in here in the performance, I decided to use FSR for the presets of the game on its quality mode. So one thing that you should know is that you won't be able to get 60 frames per second all the time in this game. Probably you can have it if you use very low levels of FSR, but on FSR2 on quality mode at 1080p, even with the very low settings, it's easy to drop below than 60 frames per second on some occasions. Also, keep in mind that cutscenes, for example, are much more demanding than regular gameplay. So during those cutscenes, you bet your ass that you will have less than 60 frames per second in any settings. Alright, so very low settings I wasn't really able to get 60, and obviously low settings I also didn't get 60. But the low settings, my experience was pretty much in between 50 to 60. There are some rough spots where it did run at 45. Keep in mind that this was only at the beginning of the game, so this might change a lot throughout the rest of the game. Medium settings did provide an experience above 30 frames per second. Cutscenes might drop below 30 with the medium settings. And high settings, well, it was a mess. It was running easily below 30 frames per second, so it's really hard to recommend. And also, I had my custom settings. Since we won't be able to get those 60 frames per second, I decided to use dynamic resolution. And I decided to use Intel XESS for that dynamic resolution. And my target was 30 frames per second. So what it does is, the game dynamically scales the resolution of the game to keep up at 30 frames per second. Alright, and it actually was working pretty fine. Alright, so but the issue is since the recording takes a little bit more of VRAM and dynamic resolution takes a little bit more of VRAM, I was having issues with VRAM and at some points it did drop below 30 frames per second in cutscenes and in a fight with the machines. But without recording, the experience is a little bit better. There are no drops during gameplay, although I admit my custom setting does drop during cutscenes, so which is a little bit unfortunate. My custom settings is essentially just medium settings with everything enabled. So basically medium settings, that is screen space shadows, that is parallax occlusion mapping, that is all that stuff. And I decided to enable all that stuff, including the post-processing, radial blur, vignetting. I enabled simply everything aside from motion blur. Usually I'm a fan of motion blur, but the implementation inside this game is just horrible. So no motion blur in this game. That's my suggestion. And also I didn't use motion blur for this benchmark. So my custom settings, it is just 1080p, Intel XESS with dynamic resolution set to 30. Medium settings with everything enabled, which means parallax occlusion mapping, and also screen space shadows. Alright. I was able to get 30 frames per second all the time, and the game just scaled the resolution as far as it needed. And that's about it. Now, performance, in my opinion, is not really bad. I mean, we are talking about a 1650 Super, which is much more weaker than a PS5. And playing with these custom settings that I was saying, it actually looked pretty good, far enough, in my opinion. It was good enough. The issue is, through all the settings that I did tried, I had to play with textures on low. And that's my biggest issue with the game. Textures on low on this game, it's just really bad. We are losing a lot, but when I say a lot, I really mean it. We are losing a lot of quality in here. Not only on characters, but in random objects, the ground. We are losing a lot of detail, even on the leaves, the foliage. Everything seems like a blur. And that's not because of upscaling or anti-aliasing. No, it's just really the textures, alright? 4 gigabytes of VRAM might offer you, this graphic card, I mean, might offer the possibility of you finishing the game at 30 frames per second with upscaling and with a good balance in between quality and performance. I'm honest, I can finish the game easily with this GPU if it wasn't really for the 4 gigabytes of VRAM. Textures does really look bad at some objects, or at closed view of some objects, or the ground, or sometimes the walls. It is really bad. And so because of that, it's hard to recommend. This is not really the way that I want to play this game, with such downgraded textures. It deserves better, you know. And so, despite I now have this game, I'm not going to finish up this game with these textures. That's my decision. I prefer, honestly, to wait when I have a better graphic card to enjoy the game with better textures. It's not even the 60 frames per second, which probably I will have the possibility of playing with a new GPU. It's really the textures that look really bad. That's really what holds me from playing this game now from beginning to the end. It's because it's very distracting, and like I said, this is not the way. I mean, character faces and sometimes some of the clothes doesn't look really bad on the characters, but it's really the environmental textures that does look really bad. So I will hold on my playthrough from this game until I have a better GPU. This might come in 1 year, 2 years, or never, I don't know. But I'm not going to complete the game like this. It just deserves better, alright? But that's just my opinion. Apart from that, it holds pretty well, like I said. So that's it, guys. Thank you much for watching. In case you have any doubts about anything about this game, ask on the comment section of the video. In case you want to jump to any specific graphical setting that I did try, there is timestamps on the description of the video, so feel free to use them as you like. So that's it. Thank you much for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Whoever left this here might have also shot those machines we found earlier.
So where are they now? Ugh, what's that stench?
Entire camp. Wiped out. They must have come here to delve for scrap.
Acid. That explains the smell. And it looks like something big came in from above.
Crashed right through the camp. And then through the wall. I should take a look at the rubble in that gap. Whatever came through here brought this down as it went out. If I can dislodge some of the debris, we might be able to squeeze through. Maybe I can find something to help in the camp.
Aloy, over here. I think I got something. It's some kind of Osram prototype, I think. This hook looks like it can latch onto things.
And this gear pulls it back.
It looks broken, but maybe we can repair it. Hook it to the debris.
And pull it out. That could work. The focus can help us search the camp and identify anything we can use to fix the tool. My focus picked up a couple of things to check out.
Poor guy. Acid burned right through his armor.
Part of a machine. Could help fix the gears. Machine cable. Stronger than rope. All right, I think I have what I need to repair the tool. Or maybe even make something better.
You could use this workbench.
There. Pole caster. Now to test it on the debris. That worked better than I thought.
Huh. What's this thing for?
What's this?
Whoa!
Good morning. I'm Oswald Dalgard, and it is my pleasure to introduce you to
The wilds have really grown over this place.
Deeper into the creepy ruin we go.
Above us. What is that thing?
Might have been what killed those Osram. Keep your guard up.
Oh, my guard
Up
is
here.
up.
Careful. Don't want those things to call in some friends from underground. You take the left one. I'll deal with the one on the right.
Okay. Moving up.
I need to sneak up on it to take it out with my spear. Can't let it see me.
Huh.
I should scan it
What's
first.
this thing for?
Check its patrol path. I can throw a rock to distract it. Get it into a position where I can sneak up and strike. Just have to wait for the right moment. There. Now, to take it down with a spear strike.
Mine's down too. More of those machines ahead.
Nothing you can't handle.